Welcome, everyone, to the Meaningful Hearts podcast, where we discuss the everyday questions that make us or break us if we let them. With your hosts, Drew and Daniela. Take our hands and let's walk this journey together. Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Meaningful Hearts podcast. Today, I will be flying solo. Daniela is out. She's a little busy. We miss her, and we would like to talk to her soon. Today, I want to talk about the magic of sports. I guess miracles in the magic of sports. I guess they're kind of together as far as how they intertwine. The reason this came up was last night I was watching a baseball game, and I'm sure if you have the internet, or I'm sure if you know a little bit about sports, you heard about Pete Alonso hitting a top of the ninth 3-run homer that put the Mets ahead of the Milwaukee Brewers and eventually leading to a victory, which was one of the biggest upsets ever seen, I believe, in the history of baseball. Nobody's ever done that. Pretty awesome. And as a diehard Mets fan, that was by far the most incredible thing I've seen to date, being that I was also in a very bad place at the moment, stressed about how we had kind of a Cinderella season, which wasn't expected to be much, and then kind of came down to this surprise where I was like, wow, we went from wow up here to like down here and then back up here, and oh my God, we're going on to the next round. Crazy. Hasn't been done since the Mets haven't gone on to win a series in the playoffs since like 2015. So a little background, but just to give you an idea, it was a pretty big deal. And for me, sitting there and really just going from, I guess, really down in the dumps, right? I've gone through being a fan and being disappointed on so many occasions. And I was shocked at what had taken place. Now, to give you a little context on why this kind of blew my mind a little bit, was there's a lot of things. Well, to get on to the subject matter of why this kind of came into play, or it kind of came into my mind as something to talk about, is that, you know, when your back is against the wall, when you're in your final hours, or you're in that last moment, there's really no chance for you. It's a slight chance. There's like a 1% chance, and you rise to the occasion, and the stars align, and something amazing happens. Like a miracle happens. What was it? Is it a miracle, or is it just you taking every last bit of what you have inside of you and making something amazing happen? And for me, it was mind blowing. It was uplifting. It created so much like beauty in something that could have been chaotic, I guess, in a sense. And that's what I think I love about sports, is sports in general pushes players to their limits. The people that are the best at what they do are being challenged at such a high level. And it's not the everyday scenario that is amazing, which I'm not discrediting that, because players do some, you know, whatever sport you're in, there's amazing plays being made throughout every season I've watched. There's something really cool that happens. But it's like the difference between a regular person doing something in a game versus that one person that shows you why they are even on a higher percentile than the pros who are already pretty incredible to make it that far. They do this thing. They get backed into a corner. They get put into a position where you have to have this this ability to keep your mental strength alive, even though everyone around you is feeling it, right? And they're relying on you to come through. And then on top of that, you have the fan base who could be booing or could be screaming or could be talking about what's going on the internet. I mean, if your team is not doing so well, or they're critiquing specific players that get paid more money, that they're not worth it. And these players obviously know that they're not doing well, and they have these constant reminders that there's people out there that they're falling out of favor with, and possibly talking a lot of smack to them, a lot of crap about, their performance. And it's like, wow, then you got all that on you. And now you're in a tight position where the season's on the line. Your reputation's on the line, right? Your career, what you do from this point forward will either possibly make or break your reputation as being somebody who can perform under the highest level of pressure. And for Pete Alonso last night, he is going to be a free agent after this year. And he didn't have the best season. Overall, he's a very, very good baseball player. He can hit the ball very well, but he had a very dismal year. And when you're coming into a free agency, you want to have the best year you ever had so that you're very marketable. And your team, your home team, if you want to stay with your team, you want them to give you the best offer that's out there. And a lot of people are like, wow, he's definitely not going to get the offer he wants. Even the offer that he had before, like the extension offer he got, he's probably not even going to see those numbers, and he turned those numbers down. So it was like his final at bat, probably for the season, in a situation that was almost impossible. And knowing how much stuff people are talking about you, the game is on the line, you're stressed out, and all you have to do is focus on hitting a ball that is traveling upwards of 95 to 100 miles per hour from 60 feet away. And you have to use a bat, a wooden bat, to swing and time it and hit the ball. And the ball is not just going straight, it's moving. And making a judgment call on which pitch you're going to swing at and hit it well. And not cause it to be, multiple outs because it was one out, but actually hit into a double play, or cause it to be a catastrophe. So it was either tragedy or triumph. And for him, that was probably the biggest at bat of his career, and one of the biggest at bats for the franchise, and having his back against the wall. So it blew me away that sports can do that. I mean, in everyday life, we have challenges and that's where I really want to transfer over to. In everyday life, we have challenges. We have things that push our backs against the wall, and there's our reputation on the line, right? I'm sure we have family, friends, peers that we want to get approval from, because listen, the better you do in your life, you move on to do bigger and better things. And if you're in an organization, you want the respect of your peers to be promoted or to be that guy that does that thing. You want to be the best, right? I think so. I think that's where we're all here, is to kind of be better than we were the day before and try to be the best versions of ourselves. And that means pushing back when you're pushed against the wall, because life, for the most part, unless you decide to check out and just be the average Joe, just living day by day, you have to push and push hard, or you're going to falter. And the best example of that, and we all champion, we always cheer whatever type of sport we're watching. If we do watch sports, that's one of the best examples. You see people that literally are under immense amounts of pressure. They're getting paid a lot of money, but there's a lot of expectation when you're taking that type of money to perform at the highest level possible against people that are also at the highest level possible, the highest level of performance. That's why they're there. They're in the most elite league. To be even considered a professional at that level, it's like, I think 1 in a million or some crazy number. And then to be an elitist in the elite league is even higher of a chance of that even happening. So to be able to perform with your back against the wall in those scenarios, and push through. It's pretty amazing, and we love to see it, but it's also incredible when we could do it ourselves. And that was such a great example of it. And also it just makes you want to do whatever you do in your life to that level and have that type of celebration. I know that in the type of work that I do sales. I'm not hitting baseballs, but when I close a deal or I get some progress in an area or an opportunity to do something extraordinary, it's like a celebration like that. You want to pop a bottle of champagne and you want to celebrate like that. And I think that's why I love sports so much. And I think that's why I like to watch them. And it just came to my head when I was watching it yesterday. I was like, I need to talk about this. This is something incredible that I want to share, because I think that it just gets the fires going with inside of me. And now, don't get me wrong, being inspired does not last very long. You have to continue to push through the hard times. But I think that's what makes these miraculous moments so amazing, is the journey that it takes to get you there, and the amount of pushing, even when you think there's nothing left in you, even when you're not sure if you're going to make it to that next part, that next step. You think the end is in sight. It's crazy how that extra push that you give yourself opens up a door that opens up an opportunity and gets you to another big place. And it's incredible. Miracle. It's a miracle, I guess, in a sense. I guess the miracle is you bring your skill to the table, being the best version of yourself and getting one opportunity, one pitch to hit it out of the park. And Pete Alonso got that opportunity, and the skill was met with an opportunity and whatever else was aligned with it. And he sees the moment, and here we are going to the next round. And I hope that we're able to do the same in our lives. When your back is against the wall, you're being challenged, I highly, highly recommend taking your best swing and not letting that opportunity fly by. And this is something that I struggle with every day on a daily basis. I'm not perfect. I always go back to that. But I think we all have so much to give to this world, and it's exciting to see people excel and do better. And I want you all to do better. I appreciate you all for listening. Thank you. And I will talk to you soon.